Anybody have any other questions before we move on to the next slide? Great. Now the question, why blog? So why do people here think it would be a good, why do you want to learn about blogs? I guess is a better question. What do you think it's going to do for your business?
Expand your network, more communication with potential clients.
Yes, I'm hearing increase business, expand your network, more communication. Yep.
Appeal to the younger generation.
Yep. Yep.
Gives you a chance to make a first impression.
What do you mean by that?
I was quite shocked actually. Smacked me upside the head with a dead codfish that one of my current clients, before they hired me, was checking me out on Facebook. You know, so with my blog, it gives me a chance to present myself. I mean, I'm glad I finally decided to grow up a bit and not do what I used to do online.
I have a good story about that after.
You know, so I could pre-sell myself to the public. With a blog, it's easy. I mean, your website does that to a degree, but like if you can type an email, you can type a new post for your blog. It's that easy, and it's not that easy to update websites.
Yeah.
So that's why.
Yeah, one of my great clients who's bought, I started working with him last November, and they've, it's two gentlemen who are investment partners together, and they've bought, I think, 6 or 7 investment properties through us. And they had a realtor before they contacted me. I didn't induce them to break the contract or anything. They weren't under buyer agency. But they contacted me one day, both of them separately, actually. Neither of them knew that the other one had contacted me. And they found me through my blog. And the first conversation was this guy, Kevin, called me. And I'd never talked to him before. And I got a page and I returned the call. And you know, he's a doctor. I go, you know, it's a doctor's office. And I go, you know, can I speak to Dr. So-and-so? And he gets on the phone and he goes, you know, I just want to let you know I'm a little upset at you. And I said, okay. He goes, I missed my 10 o'clock meeting this morning. I said, okay. He goes, I was on your site reading till about 1 a.m. last night. Yeah, exactly. You know, he was sort of talking in jest. And then a couple of days later, his investment partner emailed me also. And then about a week later, I found out they're working together. And they had a realtor who was you know, helping them buy some investment stuff, but wasn't giving them the sort of advice and expertise they needed. You know, he couldn't refer a mortgage broker who was able to help them finance their investment properties, just as an example. And those are, you know, they bought well over $1 million worth of stuff. And they found me just because I was providing them the sort of information they were looking for. So here are some reasons, and this is really not an exhaustive list. So your blog can give you 24/7 personal branding. I wake up early. I like to go to sleep early. I was not up when Kevin was on my website at 1 a.m. I'd been asleep for probably 4 hours at that point. But it was still running, and it's running all the time. There's somebody who's on my website right now while I'm here teaching. And that's really powerful. Now, any website will do that for you, but this is why you need, it's why you need a marketing vehicle that gives you leverage. And for some people, they might think the billboard outside gives them leverage, and some people might like the print ads. But for my money, for my return, I really like the blogs. I know people who spend, you know, $2,000 a month on print advertising, and they can't show me the return on investment they're getting, and I can show them the return on investment I'm getting for my $7 a month. So I love the 24/7 personal branding. Another thing is expanded internet presence. Does anybody in here Google themselves? You know, type your name into Google, see what pops up. Are you the first thing that pops up?
Trying to go to search, yeah.
Good. A lot of people aren't. I didn't used to be the first thing that popped up when I searched my name because there's other people with my name. One of them writes some tech column down in California. One other one has a blog somewhere in Norway. But there's a bunch of people named Benjamin Bach who are on the internet. Because of my websites, I'm now the first thing that pops up, and I'm probably the first 15 or 20 things that pop up. I have a couple different sites on my older sites, but also within my blog, they all pop up as different pages. So if you type in Kitchener-Waterloo investments, I'm going to be one of the first things that pops up. If you type in buying a rental in Waterloo, I'm one of the first things that pop up. If you type stocks versus mutual funds, I'll be somewhere on that first page there. So because I'm cognizant of what I'm writing about and I'm writing towards a sort of business I want to do, I show up more in these sorts of searches that people who are looking for what I'm selling are searching for. And there's sort of a little bit of investigation you have to do there. You have to think, what are my clients looking for? Now, your clients are probably looking for a nice home in a nice neighborhood. And when you're out, when you're blogging, you just want to you want to think about that. So say you have a new listing. So Chris, you mentioned you just took a new listing. Have you blogged about it yet?
Of course not.
Perfect. So when you blog about it, I'll give you some tips. So instead of saying 1313 Woodlawn Road, which isn't the address, it's something with a W though. Instead of saying that, I might say, I just listed this awesome family home in a great kid-safe neighborhood. And then I might go on to say that you know, this lovely bungalow is close to schools. And I describe it in a way that I talk about it because I know that people want to look for stuff like that. So people are going to search for a nice home in a, you know, and they'll talk about it in a certain neighborhood. So I don't know what your neighborhoods are called here, but in Kitchener-Waterloo, I would write in a great bungalow in Laurelwood. So even though Laurelwood is, you know, it's just a neighborhood, people who want to live in Laurelwood are searching for that. So here it might be, you know, a house in the beaches or something. So whatever your clients are looking for, and if you don't know, it's a great thing to email some of your clients and say, hey, have you ever searched for real estate online? What did you look for? And they'll probably tell you, oh yeah, I looked for this and some guy's site came up and I saw a house and I called you anyways, because you have a relationship with them. And at the end of the day, this is just another way to build a relationship. But having a presence on the internet is very important because the younger generation and even the rest of the people, they're all on the internet now. You know, I used to work at a brokerage where the broker didn't have BlackBerry. I think even now that guy has BlackBerry. Like everybody's connected these days. You know, like I was just dealing with an agent the other day that doesn't email anything. I was flabbergasted. It's like the first one I've dealt with in 4 or 5 years that doesn't email stuff. They just, you know, they only check their email twice a week or something. Most people aren't like that anymore. I see people shaking their heads because it's so ridiculous. Everybody we know is online and our parents are online, you know, even no matter what age they are. Third thing here is going to help you market your listings and services. And this is pretty straightforward. If you have a great listing, you might want to put some information about it online. You might put a video walkthrough. Or as Chris suggested earlier, a much simpler way to do that would be to take some pictures, and Chris was saying put it in PowerPoint, and then through one of the sites that I hope you wrote down or gave him your email, you'd be able to share that on your site and on YouTube. Now with a traditional website, you can still enter your listings there, but usually it's a little more restrictive depending on what the package you have is. Organic search engine ranking. Is there anybody that doesn't know what that means? Yeah, so this is sort of like a web term. When people are advertising online, they're usually either going with organic advertising or paid advertising. And the paid advertising is either a banner ad or it's a pay-per-click text ad in Google or something, or Facebook or something like that. I know some people are having success with paid advertising, and that's definitely a good stream. But all my results have all come through organic search engine rankings. So when people search for buying an investment property, they're going to come on my site. And in our region, if you're searching for that, there's really only 2 realtors you'll end up dealing with, because the rest of the guys who sell commercial stuff don't use the internet somehow. It doesn't work so well for them. So when you have organic search engine rankings, this is when what people search for pops up on your site. And there's no formula. There is a formula, but it's not one I understand. Google, which is the main search engine most people use, has an algorithm related to where your words are, how often they appear, whether or not they think you're a robot, like all this weird computer stuff. So I can't give you a cut and dried how to get on there. But if you write in real conversational terms, and you just sprinkle it with some, what I like to call keywords. So for example, if you're writing about a listing, don't just say this home has, or don't just say this house has. Say this 3-bedroom, 2-bath bungalow in Laurelwood, or this gorgeous red brick house, or something like that, because those things are going to pop up in search engines. I know when I look at how people find my website, what I find really interesting is I wrote a post a few years ago called 10 Things to Do in Waterloo in the Summer, which has nothing to do with real estate, but it's one of my top posts time and time again, because it has a link to, you know, the track with the free running, it has a link to, you know, all the good parades and stuff people are searching for. Now people who are searching for things to do in Waterloo in the summer, a lot of them own houses, just because most people own houses. Now most people who own houses, I know, can afford to buy an investment property if they're shown the right way to do that, so it's not going to disrupt their lives. So even though that post has nothing to do with real estate, I understand that people who are looking for things to do with their kids in Waterloo in the summer